All right, welcome back. This is episode 2, Why or Thinking Feels True But Isn't. If you're here, hopefully you did the experiment. You spent at least 24 hours noticing or thinking. And you probably discovered something unsettling. Yeah, it's everywhere. Every decision, every judgment, every thought, that, or right or wrong, good or bad, or. Constant splitting. And here is what I want to address today. It feels true, though, doesn't it? Or thinking feels logical. It feels like the way that reality works. Of course, you're either sitting or standing. Of course, the light is either on or off. Of course, something is either true or false. Binary thinking, it feels obvious. So when I say that reality operates in and, part of you probably resists. That's just being wishy-washy. That is avoiding decision. That is just illogical. Well, today I'm going to show you why or thinking feels true, and why reality doesn't care what feels true to your survival brain. Because here's the thing, or thinking is true for a very limited domain, but you've been applying it to everything. That is where the breakdown happens. Let me show you where the cracks appear. Let's start with why or feels so right. The law of non-contradiction. Philosophy 101. A thing cannot be A and not A at the same time in the same respect. An example, this door cannot be both open and closed. This statement cannot be both true and false. You cannot be both here and there. It's binary. It's one or the other. It's never both. This is formal logic, and it works for simple, discrete, physical objects. A light switch, it's on or off. A door, it's open or closed. The location, it's here or there. The binary code, it is 0 or 1. Simple systems, clear boundaries, or works perfectly. So your brain learns. Reality is binary. Logic is binary. Truth is binary. And then you apply this to everything. Human beings, they're good or sad. Good or bad, rather. Emotions, happy or sad. Decisions, right or wrong. Identity, this or that. Reality itself, it's either physical or it's consciousness. But here is the problem. Complex systems do not obey binary logic, and most of life is complex systems. Example 1, light. It's a physics question. Is light a particle or a wave? The or logic says, choose one, can't be both. Reality says, well, it's both, depending on how you measure it. Wave-particle duality. This broke physics, because light doesn't care about your logic. Light is and. Example 2, you. Are you your body or your consciousness? Or logic says you got to choose one. If the body, well, consciousness is just brain activity. If it's consciousness, the body is an illusion. Reality says, well, you're both. You are embodied consciousness. Consciousness experiencing through the body. Not one or the other. Both. Always. Example 3. This present moment. Is this moment determined, or do you have free will. Or logic says, well, it's either deterministic, because everything is caused, or it's free will, which is true choice. Reality? Reality says it's both. Your genetics, upbringing, circumstances, which constrain you, were they determined? Within those constraints, though, you had choice, which is free will. Parameters are set and choices are real. The pattern or logic works for simple domains. But reality is mostly complex, paradoxical, and multidimensional. So when you force complexity into binary logic, you get false problems and you get incomplete answers. Not because you're thinking wrong, no, but because you're using the wrong tool. You're trying to measure temperature with a ruler. The tool isn't broken. You're just applying it where it doesn't work. So, why does your brain default to or? Well, it's evolution. The brain evolved for one job: keep you alive long enough to reproduce. That's it. I mean, it's not understand this complex truth or not recognize this paradox. It's basically just survive. And for survival, it is or. Thinking is fast. The scenario, you're walking through the forest. You hear a rustle. The or question, tiger or not tiger? Your brain, well, this binary assessment is a split-second decision. Run or don't run. This saved your ancestors' lives. Fast binary thinking equaled survival. Nuanced paradoxical thinking? Ugh, you just got eaten by the tiger. So your brain is wired for or. Because of the quick characterization, is it a threat or not a threat? And the clear boundaries, is it safe or dangerous? And it's a binary response, fight or flight. There is no ambiguity because you cannot afford uncertainty. And this works brilliantly for physical threats, simple survival decisions where there is clear and present danger. But it fails for relationships because in theory, people aren't threats. Meaning, which can't be binary, identity, which is complex and fluid, and complex decisions where there's multiple factors. And spiritual questions, which are by nature inherently paradoxical. Your brain is running survival software for non-survival situations. It's like using a hammer for brain surgery. The tool works, but it might be the wrong application. And here's the kicker. You don't even feel like this software, this survival software, is running. To you, it's just logic. It's just the way things are. It's just, quote unquote, common sense. Because it's unconscious. The water, the fish don't notice until somebody points it out, which I just did. And now you can't unsee it. Every or question that you ask is your survival brain trying to simplify complexity into a binary threat assessment, even when there's no threat, even when binary doesn't even fit. Your brain doesn't care. It's doing its job. It's keeping you safe, even if that safety keeps you small. And even if that safety keeps you fragmented. So let me show you exactly where or thinking fails. There are 5 domains where binary logic creates false problems. Number 1, human beings. Or question, is this person good or bad? Well, why does it break? Well, because people are multidimensional. They're complex. A person can be a good father, but a terrible partner. They can be a brilliant artist, but a destructive addict. They can be kind to strangers, but cruel to their own family. And people can be generous sometimes, and other times they're just purely selfish. Binary can't hold this. So you do one of two things. Either you judge them entirely based on their worst action, or excuse their behavior, their harmful behavior, because you saw their good side. But the truth is that neither of them is really accurate. And reality. This person has a capacity for both harm and healing, both kindness and cruelty. Like, I don't know, all humans, kind of like me. Now, you can see them completely. You can have the appropriate boundaries and not be shocked when they're inconsistent, because you can hold this complexity without needing to simplify. Emotions? Well, same thing. Or question, am I happy or sad? Why does this break? Well, truth be told, emotions are not binary. You can be happy about a promotion and sad about leaving colleagues, grateful for a relationship and angry about specific behavior, excited for change and scared of the unknown, proud of growth and grieving what you left behind. Binary forces you to choose one and then suppress the other. The result? Well, emotional dishonesty and internal conflict. With the and reality, well, I'm feeling a multiple emotions simultaneously. All of them are valid and all of them are information. Now, you can honor your full experience. You can stop fighting yourself. You can communicate complexity and integrate and not fragment. Number 3, identity. The or question. Am I an introvert or an extrovert? What this breaks? Well, you're not really a fixed category. You might be introverted generally and extroverted with your close friends. You could be extroverted in professional settings and need alone time to recharge. Social when energized and withdrawn when depleted. Different in different contexts. Binary forces you into a box. And then you can feel confused when you don't fit. Well, the and reality, I have introverted and extroverted capacities. Context matters here. Energy matters. Both are me. Now you can stop trying to figure out which one you are. You can honor what you need to be in each situation. Stop judging yourself for inconsistency and be fluidly yourself. Decisions. The or question. Well, should I stay or should I go? Well, why does this break? What breaks here? Well, most decisions are not binary. A relationship example, love them and need different communication. Want it to work and won't tolerate the continued pattern. See their potential and honor their limits. Can stay and set boundaries. Can leave and still care. Binary makes it seem like only two options exist. Stay and tolerate everything, or leave and lose everything, but both feel wrong. The and reality, I can stay and things must change. I can work towards change and be prepared to leave if needed. I can love them and honor myself. Now you can hold multiple truths. You can make nuanced decisions. You can stop feeling trapped. And you can always find a creative third option. Number 5, well, reality itself. The or question. Is reality physical or consciousness? Well, why it breaks? Well, this is a big one. The materialists say that physical is real. Consciousness emerges from brain. The idealists say, well, consciousness is real. Physical is consciousness's creation. Or thinking forces the split. The and reality? Physical and consciousness are two perspectives on one thing. Matter is consciousness densified. Consciousness is what experiences matter, not separate, different aspects of reality. Now you can honor body and spirit, respect science and mysticism, ground in physical and recognize consciousness, and stop fighting a false war and integrate worldviews. The pattern here, the or creates false binaries. It forces incomplete choices. It generates internal conflict. It fragments what's whole, and it reveals complexity is real. Paradox is real. Both multiple truths coexist. Integration is possible. And this isn't being vague. This is being accurate. One more thing here. Quantum physics has been screaming this at us for about 100 years, and we haven't just listened. Quantum superposition, before you measure it, a particle exists in all possible states simultaneously. Not, well, we don't know which state, but it's actually in all states at once. So Schrödinger's cat, before you open the box, the cat is both alive and dead. This is not a metaphor. This is actual quantum reality, the wave-particle duality. Light behaves as a wave or as a particle, depending on how you observe it. Your observation determines which aspect manifests. Now, what does this tell us? Well, at the quantum level, the foundation of all matter, reality doesn't operate in or. It operates in and, a superposition. Multiple states, simultaneously, until observation collapses it into one. Now, scale that up. If fundamental reality is and, why would human experience be or? Well, it's not. You're just experiencing it as or, because that is how your survival brain processes it. But the reality underneath, it is always and, always multiple, always paradoxical. Quantum physics proves this. The ancient mystics, they knew it. And you are finally ready to see it. Or was never reality. Or was your lens. And is what's actually there. So, last episode, you noticed or thinking. This episode, you are going to feel where it breaks. This is a 48-hour assignment. Part 1, find your stuck or. Identify one place where you are stuck in false binary. This could be a relationship, stay or go, career, this job or that job, identity, am I this type or that type, decision, do X or do Y, belief, is reality this or that. Write it down. I'm stuck on or. Part 2, map the cost. For each side of your or question, if I choose A, well, what do I gain? What do I lose? Why does this feel incomplete? If I choose B, what do I gain? What do I lose? Why does this feel incomplete? Notice, both choices feel wrong. Neither feels complete. That is your clue that you are in a false binary. Part 3. Ask the 6 questions. Ask the 6 and questions. This is where it gets interesting. Take your or question and ask, what if both are equally true or partially true? Not either this or that, but some of this and some of that. What am I protecting by keeping them separate? What fear is keeping the binary in place? What would be scary about holding both? And then the next question, what belief drives the split? I believe I must choose because blank. Number 4, what wants to emerge if I held both? What third option appears when you stop forcing binary? What creative solution emerges from and? Number 5, what changes if both are true? How would you act differently? What becomes possible? Number 6, how do they actually serve each other? Instead of opposition, how might they integrate? How does A enable B? How does B enable A? Part 4, write the and statement. Reframe your or question as and statement. So here's an example. Or, should I follow passion or be practical? And I can honor my passion and express it practically. I can be practical about my passion. I can build practical skills that serve my passion. Both matter. Both serve each other. Another example, or should I stay or leave this relationship? The and. I can stay and require change. I can love them and honor my boundaries. I can work towards what I want and be prepared to leave if it doesn't evolve. I don't have to choose between them and me. I can choose both. Another example, or, am I my body or consciousness? And I am embodied consciousness. My consciousness experiences through this body. My body houses my consciousness. It is not separate. One thing expressing as a both. I am and. All right. Now it's your turn. Write your and statement. Sit with it. Feel the difference. And notice the pressure releasing. Your options expanding. Your breathing becomes easier, and there is a sense of wholeness that emerges. That is the upgrade. That is moving from or to and. Now, please do this before episode 3. Okay, so here is where we are. So we have episode 1, you discovered you think in or constantly. Episode 2, which is the current episode, you learned why or feels true but breaks down for complex reality. All right, so coming next, episode 3, the or trap, why you're stuck, how or thinking creates the exact problems you're trying to solve, why choosing a state keeps you trapped, how to recognize false binaries in real time, and then episode 4, physical and metaphorical, how reality actually speaks. Reality isn't literal or symbolic, it is both simultaneously. How to read what the world is teaching through form. The gateway to metaphorical literacy. Episode 5, you and the universe. The separation that never was. Inside and outside are the same thing from different angles. How you are creating and created. The recognition of non-separation. Episode 6, living in and. practical integration. How to make decisions from wholeness, daily, and practices and life beyond binary. But please don't skip. You need to feel each gate open. Episodes 2 homework is critical. Find your stuck or. Answer the 6 questions and write your and statement. The work is what changes you, not the listening. It is active, not passive. Now, please go and do your work and then come back because we are building something together, gate by gate, until you are through. Okay, well, I hope to see you in episode 3 after you have felt or breaking down, after you have experienced and emerging. Until then, notice where you are splitting what's whole and ask, what if both? Yeah, one last thing. That question from episode 1, are you the wave or the ocean? You are probably starting to see it now. The question itself is wrong. It is an or question applied to something that is and. You are not the wave or the ocean. You are the wave and the ocean. You are the ocean expressing itself as a wave. Not separate, one thing. We will go deeper in episode 5, but you're already seeing it. The gateway is opening. Keep walking and be whole.